Hi guys, I'm Woodcraft Hamster and I thought I'd do another quick episode on our firelighting series. And what I wanted to talk about today was slightly more modern firelighting techniques, and by that I mean essentially lighters and matches. Now this is not so much a practical demonstration video, it's more just a bit of a ramble from me, but really the first point I wanted to make is using something like a lighter or even a box of matches is in no way cheating when it comes to bushcraft. A lot of people turn their noses up at this kind of thing, and don't get me wrong, if you've gone out specifically to try lighting a fire with a particular method, be that a fire steel or flint and steel or friction fires or anything like that, then if that's what you're trying to do, then absolutely do it that way. But there are a lot of people that seem to think that you are somehow cheating if you've got a lighter in your pack. Now for me, when I go out, I will always have a lighter with me. I may not use it, and quite often I don't. But if you're out and the weather suddenly turns, or you're getting to the end of the day and you've lost the light quicker than you thought you were, and it's getting very difficult to light a fire with your more traditional style methods, first thing I would do is take this out of my pack and get a fire lit. And the thing is, traditionalists, if you like, say, oh, you can't be a bushcrafter if you're using things like lighters and matches. But actually, the methods that people would have traditionally used to light fires, when out in the bush and things like that, would have been the most economic and the easiest method there was available at the time. For example, people who used to use flint and steel as their primary method of fire lighting did so because flint and steel was the best way of doing it at the time. If you'd given a clipper lighter to somebody who had never seen one before, I'm pretty sure they would have bitten your arm off in order to get hold of it. If you look at some of the historical references, flint and steel was used for quite some time, and towards the end of flint and steel's use, before sulphur matches became a lot more prevalent and available, people would actually use how do you describe it? Sort of tinderbox. I mean, these were generally more for the people with more money. But tinderboxes were invented that had a little crank wheel, similar to the flint on a lighter like this, and you would crank the wheel. It would set off some sparks inside the tinderbox into the charred material that's already there, and that was kind of the equivalent of your modern day lighter. And don't forget that often people who were out having to light fires in the wilderness quite regularly, hunters, trappers, charcoal burners, all these kind of people, they would go out with pre-prepared materials because that was an easier way of doing it. But anyway, I've been rambling on, guys. So basically, if you are going out and about and you want to take something more as a backup than anything else, I normally just use a standard clipper lighter. They're well made, they're very, very good quality as a general rule, and also you can actually take out the flint, and you kind of got your own little flint striker. So even if you didn't want to carry a full-blown lighter, you can take out the flint from a clipper and you can put that in a pocket or a pack, and it's just an extra little aid to fire lighting. Also, the other thing I would say, don't forget about, and let me just put the lid back on this first. Now, I always like to keep matches with me as a backup to the lighter, just in case it gets dropped and it gets gummed up and the flint won't turn or whatever it might be. And if you are planning on using matches, I would suggest using these. Now these are strike anywhere matches. I think they're really, really useful. I've just got a little match cap box here. I think this cost me a couple of pounds online. And the benefit of strike anywhere matches alongside this kind of knurled finish here, it'll be sod's law this won't work now, but in fact it's not going to work. Right, let's try that again. There's always one match in the box that doesn't want to play, but essentially what this allows you to do, let me see if I can burn some of that off. There we go. So having these strike anywhere matches as a general rule, even though the first one failed, it just means that if you have nothing else with you, you can use a stone, you can use a piece of bark or wood or what have you, just to get that match lit and to get your fire laid. So anyway guys, hope it was useful. I've rambled on for long enough. Just my thoughts on using slightly more modern materials. I think there's absolutely no problem with it. I think you'd actually be quite silly not to have something like this in your pack as a backup, just in case for whatever reason you're having a bad day and your flint and steel technique isn't working, or your fire steel's not doing what you want it to do. So that's my advice. Keep something like this in the back of your pack. Even if it's just for emergencies. Anyway guys, comments and questions in the box below. Hit like and subscribe if you'd like to see more. I hope you'll all join me next time. Thanks guys.